Hey everyone, it's Rob Folia and Jessica Klein with Folia Properties at Keller Williams Realty here in Nashville. And we're coming to you live today to talk about how having a great listing strategy, or really a great listing system, how that can really change the game for a home seller. And so you ready to jump in and get started, Jessica?
Yeah, I really love this topic. I think it's something that people don't often think about when they're about to list, or sometimes even agents don't think about these things ahead of time. So I'm excited to share it and start everybody off on the right foot.
Most definitely. I can't tell you how many times I've heard over the last few years from no disrespect to anybody, but maybe a for sale by owner or somebody who not doesn't work in the market on a regular basis, and they've said, "Well, the market's so hot, anybody could sell a home." And yeah, anybody can sell a home, and yet is it the most financially beneficial way to sell it? Having a strategy and a system like we're going to talk about today, and just kind of hit some of the highlights about why about what that looks like for us. And we're not going to go super in depth. That's what a consultation is all about. So if you're interested and you hear something in here that you want to know more about, reach out to us directly and we'll talk with you. But having this type of system is what makes the difference, and why we average a higher sales price to list price ratio than other agents. And yeah, let's jump in and get started.
Yeah, let's do it.
And so, one of the reasons why it matters to have that you have this type of strategy and you work with somebody like this is this right here. Yeah, if you could stop pressuring me, that'd be great. Bill Lumberg. I just wanted to throw that out there because ultimately, in a market like this, I can't tell you how many times we've gotten an offer right away, right after we've listed a home, and it's sometimes not always the best offer. When it's
Yeah.
priced, home is priced correctly, sometimes an investor comes in, maybe a wholesaler, depending on what the property is and what the type of condition it's in. It's not uncommon, and they're not looking out for a seller's best interest. They just want to get the best deal they can on a home. So they're trying to pressure get you to accept an offer that may not be the best. And no disrespect to any maybe less seasoned agents, sometimes if they don't have a system that they might encourage you to take that, right?
Yeah, and there are even certain very prolific investors, wholesalers out there, and because we're in the market so much and looking at offers so often, we can recognize specific names even, and know right off the bat, as far as buyers, who, you know,
Legit, basically.
exactly,
Yeah,
yes,
we'll leave it there. But no,
yeah.
most definitely. I mean, and that's just the reality of it. And because ultimately, and I mentioned wholesaling, and I've got a graphic pulled up. I'll just put it on the screen real quick, and we'll explain what it is. And that basically, it's a almost like, to me, it's the other side of investment real estate. Like when we talk about investment real estate as a real estate agent, we're talking about helping people grow their wealth with real estate, long-term buy and holds, and to where you can have experience passive income and having things come, money come in on a monthly basis. Wholesaling is where somebody acts like they're a cash buyer. They get a house under contract, usually dealing directly with somebody, maybe a for sale by owner, maybe somebody who's going through, tough circumstances like a death in the family, who knows. But they get a house under contract because they're dealing directly with a seller. They find a buyer for the home then, and they assign that contract over to another buyer. The reason why I bring this up is that wholesaler does not care about the homeowner. They're not representing a homeowner. They care about the buyer. They care about their own pocket really more than anything, but they care about the buyer. They're almost like an unlicensed buyer's agent. That's the best way I
Right.
can put it. And so the reason I bring this up, especially for anybody who's hearing this video, maybe you have I can't, like, I don't want to go into too many details with any of our clients, but maybe you have a death in the family, and you're selling, a family member's home. Wholesalers prey on people like that, and don't get taken advantage of that by people like this. It's just the reality of it.
Yeah. If anyone has seen The Office, the episode where Dwight buys Andy's car and then turns around the next day and sells it for more, that's exactly that. That's the basics of wholesaling. So
Exactly.
the profit is in knowing that you can sell a house for more than you're buying it.
Exactly, and well, and they're not even buying the house, but the reality is they're looking out for their cash buyer's best interest. Whereas as a real estate agent, we're looking out for the best interest of our homeowner, of the
Right.
seller, when we're representing the seller, of course.
Exactly.
And so, but anyway, let's dive back into everything, because ultimately the goal of a market like we're in, and having the listing system and strategies that we have, is to do this, to create choices for the homeowner, to create hopefully a multiple offer scenario where we can then decide, hey, which way is best. Because I mean, like, yeah, again, I won't go into too many details, but we received multiple offers on this home this week, and this home right here is under contract. And, we had, a handful of offers, and I'll just leave it at that. But the reality is, that homeowner had choices. He had the ability to take one offer that may have had more advantageous terms, but a lower price, versus one that had a higher price, and the terms might have been there's more to it in there. I'll leave it there. But the goal is to then create choices. In that way the seller and the homeowner can decide, hey, which option is best. The way we do that, usually it's by putting an offer timeline on a property. So for instance, again, to jump back to this scenario right here, we received an offer first afternoon or first evening on the market from a high down payment, actually an investor buyer wanting to buy this townhome. And, they put a pretty quick turnaround time on that offer, hoping to get that seller to agree to it. And because we put an offer timeline on it, instead of just saying, all right, well, we're just going to work with this offer because we have it in hand, because we put this offer timeline on here, we were able to generate more offers, and the offer that he took is going to help him make more money than the offer that investor brought. Does that make sense? Am I explaining this right, Jessica?
Yeah, I mean that's definitely one of the major tools that we can use. And then an offer timeline is essentially, property goes in the market, and we advertise that we're going to be reviewing offers on a specific day, and that we're in a holding pattern until then, so that enough people can get in and see the home, and so that we can get, like Rob said, hopefully multiple offers, but really we can get a realistic offer for the property. And there are a few other ways that we work toward getting the best offers for the situation, and getting enough offers to know what the house is truly worth. And it can come down to things like putting the property on the market at the right time, or getting really good photos and making sure that they're in the right place, or advertising to specific audiences. All kinds of things can be done to really help the seller to get really good offers and sell at the right price and for the right terms.
Hmm. Absolutely. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you brought that up, because, I mean, when we're putting an offer timeline, we don't just randomly put a home on the market on, Wednesday at 8 in the morning and say, all right, well, you've got till Thursday at noon to get us an offer. Like, yes, technically that's an offer timeline, but that's not really a good offer timeline. Like, we have, like this listing right here, we put on the market on a Monday. And we said, all right, well, we're going to give through, basically what we say, through the end of the day, Wednesday. We gave 3 full days for people to get in and out of the property, see the home. And that allowed people to come in and say, all right, well, this is what my client's willing to pay.
Yeah.
Another scenario that we use quite often is, we hit the market. Like, we have another listing that just hit the market that we hit yesterday. We're going to show it through the entire weekend and accept offers through noon on Monday, because that home's a little bit more of a fixer upper. It's going to take the right buyer to come in and put their own spin on the property. And so because of that, we want to make sure that we don't just have that cash buyer that comes in and says, oh, well, this is what the home's worth because you need X, Y, and Z done, so I'm willing to pay that. The more options, again, just to jump back to here, the more options we can create for the homeowner for the seller, the more likely that we're going to give you an opportunity to choose your own adventure, so to speak, and to go the way that's going to make the most sense for you. Because some people, they're going to choose option A. They care most about, what they're going to net from the sale, what they're going to make from the sale. That's for some people. Some people are going to choose option B because they love that it's a cash buyer. They don't care that it's $5,000 less than option A. That's fine with them because they look at it as more secure and simpler and easier. And there's no right or wrong answer to that. It just comes down to what somebody wants,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, well, and another thing that we haven't talked about at all is pricing. And we do so much market research before we even go into a consultation with a seller, and we really customize the entire process, from the price to the day, to the offer deadline and the marketing, all this stuff, just so that we ensure that the seller is getting the best deal that they, what they're looking for.
Well, absolutely. I'm glad you said that too, because ultimately, I can't tell you how many times I get a question from somebody who just says, "Oh, well, what's my home worth?" And
Yeah.
it's like, even, no disrespect to any appraisers that might end up hearing this, but even an appraiser, they can't say exactly what a home is worth, because ultimately anything in our world, whether it's a home, whether it's a cell phone, whether it's this little Christmas tree next to me on my desk, anything we're talking about, it's worth what somebody's willing to pay for it. And actually, that's the same with real estate. And yes, there's comps and things along those lines that we use to price properties. And yet, when we're taking market dynamics into it as well, like we've talked about in so many videos about it being a strong seller's market and the fact that there's low inventory, high demand, all the above, that when we price a home correctly, we can, help the price go up, like we said, with the higher offer here versus the cash offer here. And again, that's what helps us get sellers most money. That's the little bit of a peek behind the system, behind the strategy, the great listing strategy, to help somebody make as much as they can.
Yeah, for sure. And if anyone is curious what the strategy would look like for their particular home, it's 100% free, and it only takes, what does a listing conversation take? Maybe 30 minutes to just take a look at what your situation might look like, and what we think the market for your specific home might be.
Yeah, absolutely. Somewhere around there, 30 minutes to dive deep into everything and to talk about what it is that you're wanting to do. And, absolutely happy to, it's no pressure, just like hopefully y'all see in the tone of these videos. No pressure. The last thing I want to do is have you feel like Bill Lumberg here, because that's not the goal. The goal is to help provide you the information that you're looking for in order to make the right decision for you and your household and for your family. Because ultimately, we're not here to make somebody buy, sell, or invest in real estate. We're here to provide you with the info so that you can do it when it makes the most sense for you.
Absolutely.
So yeah, if y'all need anything, give us a shout. You can reach us directly at 615-591-5665. Email us, info@foliaproperties.com. Feel free to comment on the video here. If you're not seeing it live, we'll still get your comment, or you can PM us as well. Before we sign off, any questions on the live feed, Jessica?
Not that I'm seeing, but like Rob said, keep them coming, and we'll make sure to get to you.
Awesome. Well, appreciate y'all checking this out, and give us a shout with anything you need. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.